Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to stand before you today as your newly appointed State Special Operations Coordinator. Over the course of my career, I have been privileged to work alongside some of the most dedicated and courageous professionals in public safety. Firefighters, law enforcement officers, emergency medical technicians, and emergency management personnel who give everything they have to protect others. Having served as a fire chief for over the past 15 years, I have seen firsthand the difference that well-trained, well-equipped, and well-coordinated special operations teams can make during our state's most critical moments. Our mission today is very clear: to build a very unified vision for the future of emergency management and special operations across our state. Emergencies have grown more complex, disasters more unpredictable, and the demand for collaboration is greater than ever before. The State Special Operations Guide that we're introducing today is more than just a manual. It's a roadmap of how we, across all 5 regions of our state, will respond to the high-risk, low-frequency events that demand the very best of each of us. Each of our 5 regional teams will bring together personnel trained in the 5 key areas of hazardous materials response, technical search and rescue, water rescue, incident management, and even communications. Each region will also designate a mutual aid response coordinator and a public information officer. Together, these teams will form the backbone of our state's capacity to respond to anything from a large-scale event, like a natural disaster, to more complex hazardous materials incident. So let me take a moment to begin with our hazardous materials response teams. The primary responsibility of these teams is to identify, contain, and mitigate chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and even explosive hazards. Whether it's a tanker spill on our highways, to a train derailment carrying hazardous cargo, or even an industrial release threatening the nearby communities. These incidents demand rapid, precise action. The minimum training for team members include OSHA's Hazardous Waste Operations and Emergency Response, or what we call as HAZMOPR training at the technician level, along with incident command training and PPE operations. But meeting the minimum is only just the beginning. To truly be prepared, members should also complete advanced training in detection technologies, CBRNE scenarios, and even interagency drills with law enforcement, environmental agencies, and hospitals. For example, imagine a train derailment here near Carbondale involving a tanker car of anhydrous ammonia. In a situation like that, a well-prepared hazmat team would isolate the area, plug the leaks, conduct atmospheric monitoring, and even coordinate hospital decontamination efforts. It's that kind of preparation and precision that turns potential chaos into a very controlled recovery. Our next focus is our technical search and rescue teams. These are the men and women who go into the most dangerous environments: collapsed buildings, confined spaces, and even high-angle rescues. The responsibility is to save lives when structures fail or terrain makes traditional response or traditional rescue impossible. The minimum training requirements include rope rescue, confined space operations, and even structural collapse rescue, all at the operations level. However, the most effective teams go far beyond just the basics. I encourage advanced training in trench rescue, drone-assisted search, shoring and stabilization techniques, and cross-training in emergency medical care. Experience is equally important. Team members must be tested in realistic scenarios that simulate the chaos and danger of actual real-life events. Think about the devastating tornadoes that have struck southern Illinois over the years. When homes, schools, and businesses collapsed, it was our technical rescue specialists who entered unstable debris piles, crawling into the voids to bring trapped survivors to safety. When others run from danger, they move toward it. And that's the spirit of our special operations community. Now let's take a moment to talk about our water rescue teams. These teams have become increasingly important as we face more frequent flooding and severe weather events. Their responsibility is to perform rescues in swift water, flood, ice, and even dive situations. The minimum training includes NFPA compliant swift water rescue and boat operations. But additional skill development is essential. All teams should be proficient in sonar search, flood evacuation, and joint operation with agencies like the Coast Guard or even the National Guard. Water rescue work requires not only the technical knowledge, but also physical endurance and composure under these extreme, dangerous pressure situations. Members should be strong swimmers, capable of freezing in temperatures and unpredictable currents. During the Mississippi River flooding of 2019, for instance, the water rescue teams from across the state were deployed to evacuate residents, rescue stranded motorists, and deliver supplies to very isolated communities. Their efforts saved lives and demonstrated the critical importance of having highly trained regional teams ready to respond at a moment's notice. Incident Management Response Teams, often referred to as IMTs, form the brain of our operations. Their responsibility is to bring organizations and leadership to large, complex incidents. They handle logistics, planning, resource coordination, and ensure that all responding agencies work together under a very unified command. The very minimum training for our IMT members includes FEMA's Incident Command Systems 100 through 400 courses, as well as the Incident Command Systems 700 and Incident Command Systems 800 certifications under the National Incident Management Systems. But most effective, our IMTs go beyond just the classroom. Additional training should include disaster recovery planning, continuity of operations, and the use of emerging technologies like resource tracking softwares and digital situation boards. Members should also have a prior leadership experience managing extended incidents. During the wildland fires that have affected Southern Illinois in 2021, for example, IMTs coordinated the efforts of multiple different fire departments, managed crew rotations, tracked equipment, and maintained accountability, all while communicating with our local and our state officials. Good management turns chaos into coordination, and coordination ultimately saves lives. Another essential piece of our statewide structure is the communications incident management teams. If the incident management is the brain, communications are the nervous system. These teams ensure reliable, interoperable communication during disasters, because if we can't communicate, then we can't coordinate. And if we can't coordinate, we can't send our staff where they need to go. The minimum training includes CommT and CommL certification, along with radio interoperability and emergency communications planning. I also recommend that our members receive additional instruction in satellite communication, cybersecurity, and system redundancy. During major power outages or infrastructure failures, these teams become our lifeline for every other responder. Picture a severe derecho storm knocking out the power and cell service across multiple counties across the state. The communications team would then deploy our mobile repeaters, satellite phones, and portable towers to restore the communication between field units, our dispatch centers, and hospitals. Maintaining that connectivity is critical to any rescue operation. The best mutual aid coordinators combine administrative skill with operational awareness. They know how to balance legal requirements, budgets, and on-the-ground needs. For instance, during a wildland fire that spreads across 3 counties, the mutual aid coordinator ensures that the strike teams are deployed efficiently and reimbursement is properly handled, and that everyone is working under the same system of accountability. Disasters don't recognize borders, so our mutual aid shouldn't either. Finally, we come to our Public Information Officer, or our PIOs. This position is often overlooked, yet it plays one of the most critical roles in any emergency. The PIO is responsible for providing accurate, timely, and transparent information to the public and media during our crises. They are also instrumental in educating elected officials and building a community trust long before an incident even occurs. The minimum training includes FEMA's basic PIO course, and incident command training. While advanced instruction in crisis communication, media relations, and social media strategy is highly recommended, experience is essential here. Effective PIOs have learned to communicate clearly under pressure, balancing the public's right to know with operational security. During a chemical spill that requires community evacuation, for example, the PIO is the voice of calm and clarity. They guide residents safely away from danger, dispel rumors on social media, and provide reassurance that agencies are working together to resolve the situation. Clear, honest communication saves lives as surely as any other rescue tool at our disposal. As we move forward, our special operations teams, hazardous materials, technical rescue, water rescue, incident management, communications, mutual aid, and public information will operate as just one unified system, connected by common training, shared standards, and mutual respect. This guide is the blueprint of how we achieve that unity. But a guide alone is not enough. Over the next 4 to 5 years, my vision as your state special operations coordinator is to strengthen our training pipelines, expand our professional development programs, and foster closer relationships between our state, our local, and federal agencies. We will invest in our people, the responders who put on that uniform every day, and ensure that they have the right tools at their disposal, the right knowledge, and the right support that they need to return home safely after every single call. We will also continue to prioritize mental health and wellness, because taking care of those who take care of others is essential to sustaining our mission. We will work to build diversity in our ranks, ensuring that our teams reflect the communities that we serve. And finally, we'll earn and maintain the public's trust through transparency, preparedness, and professionalism in every action that we take. Emergencies don't wait. Disasters don't ask if we are ready. It's our responsibility together to ensure that we are. Each of you here today play a vital role in that mission, and together we will build a safer, more resilient future for our state and for every person who calls it home. I want to thank you for your time, your dedication, and your continued service. It is my honor to work alongside you as we turn this vision into action. Thank you all.